this, Justin, a fast hour around the world of sports and how I and some of my friends, well, I have one friend with me at least, GM Mike Tannenbaum.
It's quality, not quantity.
That's right, and Louis Riddick is about to join us in a moment. Let us begin with Green Bay, where Aaron Rodgers and the Packers got up off the mat and beat the fearsome Cowboys in overtime. Rookie receiver Christian Watson finally started getting it going. 3 TDs. Pack ran the ball on 62% of the team's plays. 62%. Highest percentage in the Rodgers era. And the Pack came back from a 14-point deficit in the fourth quarter to force overtime and win it. 14 points in the fourth quarter. Here's Rodgers after the game.
That was a turning point for us. Hopefully a turning point that leads us to go on a streak. But that was a chance for guys to, that's not our season. 3-7. What are we doing in the off season? It's not going to be our year. Sometimes you can't explain the feelings that you have and the energetic waves that maybe come and go during the week, but I just had a feeling all week we're going to win this game.
You know, I've lived long enough to know 2 things. 1, Aaron Rodgers doesn't miss the playoffs. And 2, the Cowboys will raise your hopes, right? If you're a Cowboys fan, the higher the better because they dashed them ultimately. Mike McCarthy returns. Homecoming, here we go, the mighty Cowboys. The Packers are reeling. 180-0 teams were 180-0 when Cowboys went up to 14 points heading into the fourth quarter. They're now 180-1. Because of Aaron Rodgers and some of those young receivers, Christian Watson in particular. Okay, Louis Riddick, does this new formula give the Packers a chance to get back into playoff contention, running it?
Yeah, I don't really know if it's a new formula. It's one I think everyone has recognized. Heck, I think even Green Bay has recognized it. I know Aaron Rodgers has really recognized that they need to rely on that aspect of the game and buy time for these young wide receivers to develop. And yesterday, they actually executed it to a T. When you run the football with a surefire first ballot Hall of Famer 39 times to throwing it only 20 times, and you are that successful, and you're averaging over 5 yards per carry, you hit a team like Dallas Cowboy where it's weakest, which is the perimeter run game. They've shown that all year long. Then it really does say that you're paying attention to really where you are as a football team. The play-action passing game then starts to open up. Christian Watson decides, hey, you know what? Today's going to be my day. Today's going to be the day that I become the guy that on 4th down Aaron Rodgers goes to. That when we're down 2 scores, I'm the guy he's going to throw the football to. Then I'll let Alan Lazard get a little bit of his later on in the football game. Yeah, this is a formula. This is a November-December formula. This is even bigger than the Packers. This is a November-December formula. And if the defense can make timely plays and play up to their potential, who's to say that Green Bay isn't done?
Mike T, is this the offense we needed to see all season from Green Bay?
Absolutely. Here's the key of the game. 9 of 11 throwing the ball from play action for 148 yards and 2 touchdowns. So it wasn't just what the run game did. It was what the run game did to set up the play action pass. And Aaron Rodgers is deadly when linebackers have to come downhill to defend the run, and then he could throw the ball behind him like we're seeing here. So this is the formula back in August, September, next January. When they're balanced like they are, they had 39 rushing attempts, and he's that effective in play action. Aaron Rodgers could beat anybody on any given day.
Right, now, I jumped the gun because I'm so anxious to talk about this, but let's turn to the Cowboys now because Mike McCarthy lost in his return, as I mentioned, to Green Bay. In overtime, with a 4th and 4 on the Packers' 35-yard line, Dallas decides to pass up the 52, I thought it was a 53-yard field goal, and go for it. And Dak Prescott, throws it incomplete. Cowboys never got the ball back. Dak went 4 of 12 for 49 yards and 2 interceptions on 3rd and 4th down Sunday. Okay, so Dak has now completed an NFL low. Listen to this. 43.3% of his passes on 3rd and 4th down, on the money down and then some. 1 TD, 3 INTs. No quarterback has posted a completion percentage that low on those downs since our friend Tim Tebow. Mike, are you concerned about Dak's play right now?
I was yesterday, just from a standpoint, is he had a couple of times where, hey, you want to be a top 5 quarterback, top 10 quarterback, go make a play. We see Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes 2 of this season, Lamar Jackson. That 4th down play he should have made. And then these interceptions were costly. You take points off the board. There was a little bit of a miscommunication where the receiver should be breaking in front of the safety, but if you're Dak, then don't throw it. On this one, CeeDee Lamb goes behind the safety, another interception. You can't have that, especially when Aaron Rodgers is as high as he is. And the other thing is, Dak didn't make any plays with his feet. And once in a while, he can do that, and that really puts additional pressure on the defense.
And people have always squinted and seen a little bit more, I think, that, like, because you project it and you go, oh, he's a B+, but he's on his way to being an A. But, man, there's a big difference between Patrick Mahomes, well, and everyone, and Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, those next-level talent guys, and Dak, who's a nice quarterback, but I think people kind of squinting and seeing a little more. Lewis, you may agree or disagree, but is this 1 week thing a slip up for the Cowboys just in this game, or do you think there's a sign of bigger problems here?
No, I think there are some fundamental issues with this football team. I don't know how necessarily. Let me flip to the other side of the ball, all right? When we're talking about fundamental issues, I don't know how they necessarily get the run game fixed, run defense fixed, because the perimeter run game has been something they've been giving up all year long. And one of the things that teams like to try and do is they like to try and attack their outside players and their corners in particular and try and make them tackle. And with the way rules are set up to where you cannot go low on a pulling offensive lineman or a lineman out in space outside the tight end box, you see these guys just in full-blown retreat, man. And when teams get out on the perimeter and teams decide to really commit to running the football, I just don't know how they fundamentally fix it. And I know Dan Quinn has addressed this, and he addressed it during the bye week. I mean, there were plenty of reports of him talking about it. Hell, they had even Joe Philbin come in and talk to the defensive front seven about why teams are attacking them the way they are, Joe Philbin being the offensive line coach, and what they need to do to counteract it. And Green Bay still said, well, you can't do anything about this, so we're going to do it, and we're going to continue to do it. So, yeah, I am worried about that. Is Dak ever going to be the guy who can elevate others the way Patrick Mahomes can, since he is the standard by which we judge all quarterbacks? And as much as I love Josh Allen, Patrick is the standard. He's the standard. No, that's not what Dak's game is. He needs everything else around him to continue to hum along and go well. And everything isn't humming along and going well, especially in the passing game with the consistency at wide receiver. So, yeah, I think Dallas has some issues going forward.
Mike T., Lewis makes astute observations, as always, of course. But the thing is, no team is perfect. Every team has flaws. And Dak Prescott, his entire career, has been on very good teams. If you look, I mean, Jerry Jones give it to him. He's done a good job as GM and is better than average in the sense that every year they have nice drafts. We go into the season. At least a couple people who know a lot on this network say Cowboys will be in the Super Bowl this season, right? And every season, it's this. He has one playoff win in his career. Been in the league. This is his 6th season, Mike.
Yeah, this is the year to me that they can take the next step. And I appreciate what Lewis was saying about where their vulnerabilities are on defense, but they can rush the passer. And when Dak is on, he is a top 10 quarterback in terms of what they can do on offense. They have CeeDee Lamb, who has to continue to emerge, but Tony Pollard is a bona fide playmaker, in my opinion. He is clearly better than Zeke Elliott at this point, but you get CeeDee Lamb going, and this team is built for the lead. Now, look, they lost yesterday for the first time in 180 games, but typically with that pass rush, that's how you close out games.
180 games when they're up 2 touchdowns going into the 4th quarter. And by the way, they do have Patrick Mahomes, but he plays on defense. His name is Micah Parsons. I don't want to hear any excuses for this team. Got to get it done. You got to get it done. All right. Hopefully not. Hopefully that just jinxed them. The Lakers snapped a 5-game losing streak